This is Ken Pyle with David Jones of Shazam. We're at the 2011 Media Innovation Summit. And Shazam, many people know Shazam from the applications you see on the iPhone here. David, why don't you tell us a little bit about Shazam, and then we'll talk about what you're moving into.
Shazam is the largest music and mobile discovery app on the planet. We got our start being known for identifying a song in a matter of seconds. You press a button, we can identify what song you're listening to, and people go on to share that content, buy the content, and continue to discover from there. We've done that 2.5 million times for 165 million users around the world. It's one of the most popular apps on the iPhone, Android devices, and all the major platforms, available in 200 countries, 30 languages. Pretty major distribution and brand now all around music. We're getting into now Shazamming television shows and television ads, and it's fascinating to be able to now take that installed base, that scale, that reach, and work with television shows and television advertisers to make those shows and ads for the first time clickable, where you can engage with the show or with the TV advertiser.
So let's hold that thought for a moment on the TV. First, I want to delve a little bit into some of the success you've had just with the music we might be hearing up above. You mentioned something, 165 million base, and then you said 2.5 million users. You're finding a level of
2.5 billion songs have been identified.
2.5 billion songs.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought I'd heard million. So 2.5 billion songs have been identified.
Right.
Maybe we should talk about the technology on that, but let's first talk a little bit about some of the numbers, and they're very impressive. You said something like 8% of the people who tag a song actually go on to purchase it.
To buy the song or the album. Yeah, 8% of people go on to buy the song or the album, which was a number when I first heard, blew me away, and even to this day it's pretty impressive. So that means over $100 million worth of music are bought by people Shazamming to discover it and go on to buy it. Makes us one of the largest iTunes affiliates in the world. And the record labels, the artists, iTunes and Amazon, everyone kind of loves us because we take that first initial interest in what's that song and turn it into sales.
And it really is. It's enabling an impulse buy.
Right, exactly. And it's effortless. You press a button, a couple seconds later you have the answer. If you go onto iTunes, it's a password away and you own the album or the track.
And do you find people doing that where they are using it kind of as a list of songs they want to buy or songs that they used to have?
Absolutely, and so some people love to buy the music on the spot. Other people prefer to buy it from their Mac or PC, so you can register with us and get the songs you've tagged actually delivered in an email address the day after you tag something, so you can buy your music from your Mac or PC. So we support both of those models, and people love it.
And from a perspective of how are people using it? Are they using it? What kind of devices? Or is it smartphones? Is it tablets? Are you seeing one, kind of lead the other?
Well, the smartphones have been around longer, so our installed base is much larger on smartphones, and even some feature phones. Shazam's been around so long, we're available on all 7 major platforms, and including Java and some Brew handsets from several years ago, and that are still being rolled out. Tablets are coming on strong, and our app is just as popular on those devices as they build up their installed base and become ubiquitous.
Yeah, are you seeing a huge growth there as now relative to the smartphone applications?
Yeah, well, we'll see Android coming on strong compared to iPhone, and tablets are the next wave, basically, whether it's an iPad, or whether it's an Android device.
And what about the technology a little bit? You're using fingerprinting, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Right. Since 2000, when the company was founded, we invented a lot of this technology from day one, when before this wasn't possible, and our chief scientist and our team kind of developed this technology and the patents around it. What it does is it basically takes a fingerprint of a few seconds. Think of spectral peaks of in frequency and time. For a couple of seconds, and then we match that against billions of other fingerprints for 11 million songs in our database. And in a matter of under 100 milliseconds, we can get the answer back to the device. So it creates a little fingerprint on the phone, sends that over the data channel to our servers. We get the answer back, and then people are amazed by how quickly it works and how well it works, and then they go on to buy or share the music.
And that is a good brand name, which we'll want to talk to in a moment, but Shazam, because it literally is magic. From a network perspective, how much does that play into, the response time and so forth, and the bandwidth and the latency and things like that? How much does that factor into the performance?
Not at all. I mean, because the way we've designed our app and how it works is we're not recording the entire audio and sending it over the data channel. We're actually in the app, on the phone, on the client, shrinking that down into a couple of kilobyte-sized fingerprint that then gets sent over the data channel with the answer coming back. So all the heavy lifting is done back at the servers very quickly, and then any sort of network latency, it's a non-issue basically.
What about the processor in the phone itself? Is that kind of a non-factor now too?
Yeah, it was working on Java handsets 5 years ago, feature phones, which were children compared to the great smartphones we have today. So it works on all those devices. It's that lean and efficient.
What about some of the inhibitors or the parameters that would make things not work so well, like noise in the background and distortions and so forth?
Yeah, we've been at this, as I said, for 11 years, since 2000, and so we've solved a lot of those problems, from noisy car environments to people talking in a room if you're Shazamming a television show, to noisy bars and clubs where sometimes you think that the noise is louder than the music. We can pull the music out of the air, match it with all that noise with our database, because we've perfected that.
Well, and that leads to the whole idea of bringing it to the TV set, and you're in this living room environment now, maybe, and you're sitting back, and you do want to know more about the voice or something. Why don't you tell us about some of the applications, some of the shows you're working with?
Right. Well, first of all, people have been Shazamming television shows and ads for the music itself for years. Tens of millions of people have done it because they want to know what's that song in CSI Miami or on this particular Heineken commercial. And so we actually see new songs hitting the charts, and we know they've only been in a commercial or a show. They haven't even commercially been released as a track on the radio. So because of that, we know it's only a slight step to Shazam a show and ad to engage with the content in the show or to learn more about an advertiser's product. And so we started about 2 years ago doing that, working for advertisers and then shows. NBC Universal was first to work with us with some of the pilots around their shows. And what we can do is basically, with one button and 5 seconds later, let you have an immersive experience within more content about a television show, bonus content. Every show has great content that they couldn't squeeze into the show. So we can extend that, bring that to you, whether it's deleted scenes or full performances of a reality show or the judges' deliberations that they couldn't fit in. All of that's great stuff. If you like the show and you want more, you can get that from a second screen while you're watching television. Beyond that, I mean, the goal of all of that is to get people who are interested in the show to stay engaged, to bridge from episode to episode, so they'll come back to watch the next episode in the series, maybe tell their friends about it, and that keeps the ratings high and the advertising dollars coming in for the networks.
Yeah, you showed a graph that had impressive results as far as engagement
Yes.
of a show versus a Twitter.
Yeah, so two great stats. One, we see over a 500% increase in the traffic at the mobile sites of these different shows when you Shazam it versus a show that isn't Shazammable. And the reason, there's a lot of rich content that the networks and the show creators have put on the mobile devices or mobile sites that are mobile optimized that just no one's going to. They don't know about it, or it's too hard to type in a URL. We, with one button, just launch Shazam. We identify what you're watching, confirm what you're watching, and we can quickly take you over to that content. So we've seen a 500% increase in traffic to their mobile sites, and they're thrilled with that. Similarly, to your point, there was another television series that just finished recently where more people Shazammed the episodes of that series than tweeted about it or liked on Facebook, tweeted on Twitter or liked on Facebook. And so obviously Twitter and tweeting about shows is very popular and people are excited about that. But when you think about a 5-second call to action little animated graphic on the screen, just to remind you that you can Shazam the show, and we have more people Shazamming than tweeting and liking, which is impressive, and just shows the power of the reach, the number of users that have Shazam on their phone that can engage in a few seconds, and a little reminder on screen of to do that.
So, are people just sitting there with their phones, basically listening in a Shazam mode, waiting for that button?
Yeah, I mean, some people are they're Shazamming the music, or if they see that call to action, that reminder on screen. Yeah, 86% of people watch television and use their mobile device at the same time. The stats of how many people actually sleep with their phone is just amazing. It's always less than
text sleeping, sleep texting.
Yes, so it's always 3 feet away or less, and so it's so easy to use, and so it's the natural second screen kind of extension to the television programming. And we, the show creators and the networks are excited to extend their programming beyond the television to these second screens for all the value that we can drive.
Well, and you mentioned very interesting, I don't know if you can mention the brand, but there was a brand that used the same song, but with the fingerprinting, they are actually able to have different variations for radio campaign, for TV.
Yeah, we can. That was Old Navy this spring. They had a major television ad campaign spring-summer. That was the first major campaign that was Shazamable this year, and the television ad was ever so slightly different, the audio, than the online version of the ad on YouTube or at the website, and it was different from radio ads and the in-store ads. The audio to you and I, any person, you couldn't tell the difference in the audio. Our system knew the difference, or ever so slightly different versions or adjustments made to the audio. The app can tell the difference, and we can present a different experience whether you're watching television or in-store or listening to the radio. Different offers, free jeans, jump to the head of the line, sure. Some fun things that you can do knowing where they are when they're interacting with your advertisement.
Well, and then do you see with the advertisements that you're putting in there that the investment they have to make to customize the song and so forth is worth the return?
Well, there is no investment in that. I mean, our audio engineer talked to one of their audio engineers for a few minutes, and it was done.
Okay.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
Well, the other thing I find fascinating, too, is that you've managed to maintain a brand and create a brand, because as you're watching these shows, and they're big shows like The Voice and so forth, you see the little Shazam logo. Is that a challenge when you have, these other bigger brands that are, obviously want their logos?
Right. It's fascinating. When we first got started with some NBCU programs, we didn't know if they'd be willing to put Shazam on screen or run 15-second promos in the commercial breaks saying you can Shazam the show and here's what you'll get. Thankfully, NBCU stepped up and was experimenting with that, and it worked tremendously well. And ever since then, some folks who might be a bit conservative might hesitate to put the Shazam brand on screen, but the vast majority of them, from the shows to the television advertisers, they know it's a simple call to action. It's a brand people know and love. It's cool and associated with the magic of identifying things, and there's not a lot of pushback or resistance to putting the Shazam logo on screen. It's not just the logo, it's just a call to action. Shazam for more content, or Shazam to win, those types of things, and it's and it works.
And so do you also work where you'll kind of be the technology part to someone else's tag?
We've had some conversations with folks, and yeah, we do have APIs and SDKs that some of our partners have. I mean, for the most part, the strength of Shazam is that it's a brand that people know, and that 55 million people in the U.S. and 165 million around the world already have the app, and getting someone to download a new app is actually very difficult, and a lot of competitors and even the TV networks and the show creators who have show-specific apps or network-specific apps, it's hard to get people to download an app and to start engaging and to build a compelling experience. At least with Shazam, it's already there, it's on your phone, people just have to press a button, and then they're off to a whole world of experiences.
Well, and you'd mentioned that that's one of your strengths too, is people keep using your app after they've downloaded it.
Right. Yeah, it's 92% of our users who Shazam a television show or ad have a positive experience and would do it again. And then, to your question on retention, once people have a taste of what we can deliver, people continue to use it, and our retention rates are much higher than the industry. And my job to make it even higher, but there's more and more things you can do to Shazam music for different reasons, and now television ads and shows.
It augments our memory for those songs we forgot about 30 years ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know the tune, might know the words, might not, but we still see people Shazamming some of the biggest names from years ago are still showing up in our charts because they get airplay and people don't remember the name of the song, or they want to go on to get the lyrics, which you can get through Shazam, or watch YouTube videos, the official Vivo video of the music video. Those types of things are great, and people continue to do that with the newest music, which is most important for us to have in the database and add over time. But even some of the most popular hits over the last couple of decades.
Well, David, I really appreciate your time here. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.